If you were watching the Phillies yesterday, here you had a good Father's Day because that was a heck of a day yesterday. I mean, Wheeler's great all the time. That's no surprise. But Bohm would have bombed. Castellanos would have bombed. How about Otto Kemp? He continues to be the spark that we talked about last week that maybe he could be.
He's trying to stay. He's trying to stay, Joe.
And the Phillies have bounced back. Look, a week ago, we were at the bottom. I mean, they got swept by the Pittsburgh Pirates. Let's just call it for what it was. That was rock bottom of the season. It was the worst moment of the season, a sweep of the hands of the Pirates. But Hugh, this is exactly what you really couldn't hope for anything more, right? They come home against the Cubs, good team, and I think the Blue Jays are decent, and they take 5 out of 6, including a sweep this weekend. So now, as we were at the bottom a week ago, we're back up now. The question is, are you fully buying back in to what you're seeing here?
I never left. This is the ebb and flow of baseball. This is what we were talking about. I mean, this is this team.
Yeah,
because
it is.
A week ago, we were talking about how the bats and the offense wasn't doing a whole lot. 22 runs this weekend. 22. So you look at that. Even though the weather hasn't changed yet, it hasn't turned completely yet, you have to feel a little bit confident about what they were able to accomplish this weekend.
Well, it was a great weekend, and led by the starting pitching, which is obviously the backbone of this team, and why even when they're down, they're not so down, right? Like, even when they're down, they're not so down because the starting pitching is so great. Look, the weekend you couldn't have had it any better. Suarez on Friday, I don't know what's going to happen with the future of Ranger Suarez, but boy, is he a tremendous pitcher when he's healthy. Then Sanchez on Saturday, Wheeler yesterday, as I said, Otto Kemp. And there was one extra element of this weekend, Hugh. The Mets were swept by the Tampa Bay Rays. So the Phillies went from 5.5 back at the end of last week, which is a pretty sizable gap, to just 2.5 back. I mean, it's all back in play now. I felt so down a week ago, and I was considering the worst with this team. And now I'll tell you, I am feeling way better. Now, in terms of being fully back in, that's a strong statement to say you're fully back in.
Why is it so strong?
Well,
though?
because we know what you said it. You know what the season is: up, down,
ebb
up,
and flow,
ebb
like
and flow.
a roller coaster.
Right, and so this weekend didn't change their flaws, did it? Like, they still have the flaws.
No, I mean, but if anything, it showed you that other teams have flaws as well.
Without
you just
question,
have to you got to play it out.
That's a good point. I'll say it this way: I am considering going fully all the way back in. I'd be lying if I said I'm fully there now at 10:05 on a Monday. I mean, I feel way better than I did a week ago, and I'm certainly feeling more optimistic about where this season is going and their chances. Look, they go to Miami this week for 4 starting tonight, and then they get the Mets here this weekend. I mean, we're shaping up, as long as the Phillies hold up their end of the bargain this week in Miami, as long as they just take 3 out of 4. They play well in Miami. They're coming home on Friday with the Mets in town with a chance to take over first place, or at least push right up against it. 215-592-9494. Are you fully buying back in on the Phillies? I am considering it. Maybe do I have to make a decision by the end of the show today? Is that what we're going to do?
That sounds like that's what you.
Okay. Usually when you make decisions by the end of the show, you disappoint the audience. Am I going to disappoint?
Wait a minute. What are you talking about?
I mean, we asked you to apologize or something.
I'm not going to do that. I mean, you should know that. That's not going to happen.
But you could. I mean,
for what? What am I apologizing for?
Well, not today. And just on days you should apologize, you could. I am considering. I mean, at least it's on my radar to fully buy back in. I am feeling much better. What a great weekend. Let's hear from Topper after the weekend about Otto Kemp. 4 hits yesterday. The kid is hitting .345 in his first, 8 games of Philly. Here is Topper.
What have you liked from Otto Kemp so far in the first few games?
I do like his at-bats. I thought he looked very comfortable at first base the other day. I like the fact that he hits the ball the other way. He uses the field. He's got some pop, and he runs hard. He's a decent runner. He's a baseball player, and I like baseball players because they play the game the right way. We laugh.
We like that one.
Yeah. He's a baseball player. That's the ultimate compliment you can get.
It is. If I call somebody a pro or a baseball player, that's a real compliment.
That is, it may sound like a joke. I took it as a compliment, too. He called him a baseball player.
Yeah, that's probably the highest compliment you could pay somebody.
It almost sounds to me like he belongs. Yeah. Like he's one of them.
Hugh Douglas famously not a baseball player.
No.
Baseball guru, though.
Well.
Mr. 5-leg parlay hitter.
Oh, here we go again.
With some help from Joe.
Yeah.
Joe.
I don't give a shit.
I actually thought you were going to come in here peacocking today.
For what?
Well, you did say that win on last Monday when Otto Kemp had the bunt, that was the season-saving turnaround. Then we laughed at you when they lost the next game, but they haven't lost since.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have to do that, Joe, because I know, like I said, the fact that you brought it up is like
horse you.
Yeah, I'm just saying, it's joyful enough. It's just one of those things, man. When I think of baseball, and it's tough, I look at the standings first and say, okay, you're still in striking distance, like we were talking about last week when you talk about the Mets. And then the Mets go out there and do what they did.
They had a bad weekend.
Yeah, and it puts you right back in there. But there's still a lot of baseball left to play. Unfortunately for us, normally that dog doesn't hunt because we got to talk about it every day. So it's not one of those things where you have to have an opinion. But I've never really been too unwavering on the Phillies. To be totally honest, no, I'm not. I'm just saying.
I'm above everyone who else screaming down there.
I'm not saying that I was above anything.
But you're saying you have a level head while the rest of us. You're basically saying you people. I mean, you're peopling us.
Well, we are an emotional group.
Yeah.
When it comes to the Phillies.
They got swept by the Pirates last weekend.
And I get it, and that was reason to have angst and upset.
Yes.
But for the most part, I'm pretty even keel with my emotions. So I was. Just let y'all go through what y'all go through.
Well, for the most part, I'm not. So that makes us, we even each other out here. 215-592-9494. The other good thing this week, and so you had Kemp, who's been spectacular since he got up here, and the starting pitching, which we know is excellent. But how about Brandon Marsh, who literally was 0 for April, got hurt, whatever that was, took a little rehab, took a little time in AAA, came back. He has hit well now, I'd say for, 25, 30 days? Just if you look at the numbers in total, including 4 hits this weekend. Topper on Marsh, who looks like he is back to being at least something they could use in the lineup and helping them more than hurting them.
I think he's found his swing, he's found his timing, he's using the entire field, and that's what he's got to do. His on base actually is pretty good, even over the entire course of the year. He's really having good at-bats right now.
He is up to 342 at his on base, which blew me away when I looked at that this morning. 215-592-9494. We got a lot to do today, including Phillies tickets to a game that we will be giving away. I'll tell you how coming up in a little bit. We have Phillies tickets to give away. We're going to be at the game with you guys on Tuesday, July 1st. We'll tell you about that. It is a fireworks night. We start with the Phils, though. Are you fully back on board? 215-592-9494. Kyle, where do you come down as the Phils sweep the Toronto Blue Jays?
Yeah, Hugh and I took this thing called the pledge, Joe.
Oh, stop. He didn't take the pledge, and you know it.
I mean, I did.
You did.
No, I was thinking about lumping Hugh in, and then he did the whole, I never wavered, forget you. I took the pledge. So I'm fully bought back. I think what I was reminded of this weekend, and, besides just the perfectly convenient we sweep, Mets get swept, and now we're all of a sudden 2.5 games back. That's wow, the division's fully back into focus, especially with next weekend coming up. So that gives me confidence. Really, what I was reminded of is I think we have the best starting rotation in baseball.
They do.
I think at some points, when they're playing their best, it's not close. That can carry you as far as they need to when Bryce Harper's out. And the other thing that hit me was, the young guys, they're providing that little bit of a spark. It seems like they have a different kind of energy. When Bryce first went out, it was it feels like the team's given up. They have no hope to score any runs. And now Otto Kemp and Brandon Marsh hitting really well. Bryson Stott still pretty feeble out there. But the young guys seem to have provided not only a spark in the lineup, but a spark energy-wise. And I think the other guys are starting to feed off of that. And it's permeating throughout the rest of the team. So I'm really starting to fully buy back into the team, and since I took the pledge, liable to jump right back off.
Well,
they get swept again by another bad team, but taking care of business like they did against the Cubs, who we own apparently this year.
Yeah, 4-6.
And the Blue Jays, who, they're a decent team.
Well, they just beat the Phillies 2 weeks ago.
Right. Yeah. So, it's hard not to fully buy back in right now.
215-592-9494. Let's talk some Phillies. Start the show today. Are you fully buying back in on this team after the sweep of the Blue Jays? I guess the reason I'm at the considering stage. I'm considering fully buying back in. I'd be lying if I said I woke up today, I'm I'm all the way back in. But I can forgive, but I don't forget very easy. And I've now forgiven last weekend. It's over, right? They can't. The only way to kind of rectify a sweep by the Pirates is to come home and win 5 out of 6.
And doing with it, yeah.
Right, and then it kind of evens out. So you look. Baseball, and you said it, Hugh, it's a matter of how and when you look at the standings and when you look at the last 10 games or the last 5. They're hot right now. But literally just a week ago, this same team, the questions we all have about it were right there. So I forgive them for the sweep now with the Pirates. I'm over it. But I haven't forgotten it. One great weekend over the Blue Jays kind of just evens out one great week or one bad weekend at the hands of the Pirates.